Good morning, free enterprise fans, and welcome to the second match of this wonderful semifinals match between John Birckhead and McBain. This has just been a fantastic tournament this entire time. My name's Vitasia. I'm joined on the mic by my good friend Nitsi. Nitsi, how are we doing so far this morning?
It's amazing. The sun is shining, and here I am in my basement doing this amazing commentary with you. So it's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. We've had this is a fantastic race. A little bit of spoilers. John Birckhead is up 1-0 in this semifinals match, and we've had an interesting path to get here. How about you tell us a little bit about it?
Absolutely, Vitasia. I'd be happy to bring everybody up to speed as we are here in the semifinal match. So, just going back to if you imagine the group stages happening in the middle of the summer, John Birckhead ended up being 4-1. McBain also achieving the same record within the Yellow Dragon group, John Birckhead within the Warlock group. So, for this semi-final matchup game two, it has been an interesting road from the group stages for both of our contenders. In the bottom part of the bracket, which we're in, John Birckhead ended up being the third seed in the Warlock group, and just above him in the bottom part of the bracket was McBain, taking the second seed of the Yellow Dragon group just based on tiebreakers, who was able to get a small rest and not have to run through the round of 24. So with the seeding set, the bracket ready to launch, John Birckhead went up against FBL, the sixth seed out of the D Machine group. They ended up with the loser Sirens modification for their match, which was won by John 2-0. His reward for that first victory, going up against one of the best players in Free Enterprise and Flurry, who had finished first in the Mac Giant group in the round of 16. Meanwhile, McBain looked on from the sidelines as Bad Karma from the Warlock group, Golden Shocker, a newer racer to Free Enterprise, who came in fifth out of the D Machine group, battled it out with Karma taking it 2-1 in a tough fought win, and his reward would be to go up against McBain. McBain and Bad Karma went up with the Looting for Keys modifier. McBain ended up taking that down in a 2-0 score. Their next opponent in the round of eight, um, the tables get flipped a little bit, and Curios, who is the first seed in the Warlock group and who was quite dominating lately and was a pre-tournament race favorite, uh, as they basically went undefeated in the group stages in the Warlock group. Meanwhile, for John Birckhead, it was a tough run. John ended up the small upset, defeating Flurry 2-1 to advance to the round of eight. With the relatively new runner Free Enterprise Matic, it was definitely on their game as they finished with the two seed out of the D Machine group. I can attest it was a sleeper difficult group being in that group. They drafted to the Earn Your Keep modifier, and again in another grinding out hard-fought contest, John Birckhead was able to secure a 2-1 victory over Matic to advance to the semifinal round. McBain in the round of eight, who seemingly comes out of semi-retirement, to enter these tournaments, is up against one of the pre-tournament favorites in Curios. The Looting for Keys modifier was drafted for them, and McBain was able to seize a 2-1 series victory from Curios to reach the semifinals today, which brings us to today. Match two with McBain in a must-win situation, back against the wall to force a match three. And we have free party modifier in this draft for this round, so expect it to be a fast one as we have an edge start. And it's McBain versus John Birckhead today, and one is set to be a great matchup here on Free Enterprise.
That's a great wrap up there. Thank you so much, Nitsi. Some other things to point out, just to highlight exactly how close that these two runners are going to be. The free party flag, I think John Birckhead has a little bit more experience. We mentioned earlier the free party flag set was used in his 2-1 victory over Flurry earlier in this tournament. That said, we got to flip the script a little bit. McBain, when he beat Kyrgios in the last round, keep in mind, John Birckhead got out of the Warlock group 4-1. His one loss to Kyrgios. So when it comes to common opponents, McBain does have that edge over John Birckhead. McBain has that one loss, so it'll be interesting to see if he changes any of his routings. Playing not to lose is a lot different than playing to win. So we'll see what adjustments McBain ends up having to make. John Birckhead, I think, can play a little bit safer. Um, we won't spoil anything, but I think John Burkhead had kind of a low percent play to eke out the win in their last race. So he gets to play with a little bit of an advantage, a little bit of house money right here. And you know what? I'm gonna double what you said. That group with Matic, that was a sneaky good group because I was in that one too. Oh my gosh, it was everything's been so tough. But keep in mind, there. I mean, everyone's been doing fantastic. It's worth noting McBain's group. I think the Yellow Dragon group is the only group that does have two representatives in the final four. So even coming out second in that group, both McBain and that group's winner, Pyre, uh, I mean, is still in the race as well. So we're getting down to the nitty gritty. This is where every second counts, every decision counts, every menuing counts. Um, this is where you see the top tier runners of free enterprise.
Would you say, Vatasia, the cream rises to the top? I believe it is.
Well, I'm not going to make food references to anyone in the tournament, but yeah, you could use that analogy. The best, I mean, sometimes it has to do with matchups, but generally speaking, you know, we always love to see the best runners get there. John Burkhead has been one of those runners that I think historically he's always been good and always been kind of knocking on the edge of being in the top tier. I I need to go back and look at his tournament appearances, but he's really stood out in the past year or so with his play, and he's now in that upper echelon of all the top tier runners, right there with the McBains and the Pyres and everyone else. So this is I love seeing John do so well. I do want to point out that through in the middle of this tournament going on, John hosted JohnCon, which is kind of the unofficial free enterprise gathering out here. So through it all, he had to host a con at his place. Um, it's just really fantastic. And with that, both of our runners are off. Like I said, Edge Start, Palom. Oh, this is going to be fast, isn't it? And a spoon to get his gold.
Excellent. My apologies, Vatasia. My reference was to a wrestler named Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh,
It's a little old
I don't,
reference. I think
I don't.
it checks
Whew,
out.
go right over my head. So, I mean, that's interesting. The spoon does mean that you know, if we have an Edward, it's entirely possible we're going to keep that Edward now. Um, and with the free party flag turned on, runners are heavily incentivized, and I think we do see them both going immediately here to the Watery Pass. In addition to this being a fantastic looting spot, we get a character, and hey, a ninja star, which is just a fantastic dart for something to get past anything that's nasty early game, and a white mage.
Yes. Welcome to the team forum. Get in the van, and we'll probably drop you off once we pick up Rosa.
I mean, if we pick up Rosa, it's one of those. Is it likely? Yes. That being said, you know, we're not guaranteed to find an Earth crystal, and we certainly don't have a required Earth crystal. Doing the Tower of Zod is not in our list of objectives, so I can see some runners, especially depending on the setup that we end up having, saying, "No, I'm good with Porum. I want my exit spell."
Well, unless, Earth Crystal becomes hard required because, let's say, I don't know, something something that's hard required is gated behind it.
I mean, true, but that's a lot of ifs to play into kind of right away.
That's
Um,
well, but Baptisia, we're 2 minutes in. That's what you gotta do.
well, you got to play into all the ifs. Black Sword, interesting pickup. If we have a Cecil, there's a wonderful Earth Hammer as well. If we see a Sid, not great about Sid, but sure, we'll take it. Um, the free party flag set is really interesting in that most runners, I think, it is. It feels very formulaic in the opening, a little bit more formulaic than I think some of the other flag sets. It's check all the free party spots. You're going to be doing your looting kind of as you're going, and then we start going through. And okay, there's our Rosa. So, yeah.
Sorry, Porum Editor. Your first opportunity, you will be dropped off at the Tower of Wishes. Your bedroom will hopefully be clean. We will get the cleaning staff to clean your room.
You know, I would almost hold off on that. I mean, yeah, we have a Palom, but you cannot. There's something to be said about the power of having an all melee team and having two white mages to zerk folks up. And with that extra spoon and a required edge, it does lean a little bit that way. Depends on what other characters we end up finding here at Mysidia. I got to imagine we're going to be. Oh no, we're immediately diving some places. Okay.
I've seen this from these runners. It seems like they take the non-logical route and don't fill their party up right away. And I can definitely see the logic in it simply because these characters get, these bosses are really low XP spots, and it's not a huge detriment, especially Antlion. And you love to see your big friend Evil Wall here because he will go down pretty easily. He's got 1,000 HP and he doesn't go nearly that fast. So the only reason why I say is because in a seed where you want to go fast, you want to have that Cure 4 against Z. Unfortunately, our pal Porum doesn't get Cure 4 until level 48. Rosa, in comparison, gets Cure 4 at level 38. So that's the only reason why I'm saying Rosa over Porum in this case, just because of the flags.
JohnBirckhead did a little bit more looting, so he comes into this Evil Wall fight just as McBain is finishing up. That said, John picked up a Cat Claw and a Rune Ring, so I think he's going to be able to get through. Pan is the reward. That's really interesting to see. I know it's really popular to go ahead and do the Fabul defense, but having the Pan, it's entirely possible that some of our runners are going to try to bypass that just to try to do the single loop that some runners like to take advantage of for Fabul. So we'll see. McBain doing a little bit of looting on his way out in the meantime.
He did pick up the Dwarf Axe there, so that is definitely a great modifier for somebody like Kane, who is really not difficult to back row, but has a limited amount of items you can use to back rows. The back row glitch is on for this flag set, so that will definitely help him out. It's also faster just in general, even for your melee characters, to equip that because it's just time instead of finding bows and arrows and equipping them and unequipping them. And as we know, seconds count in this game.
Absolutely. So here's an interesting question that I think is part of the equation when building your party, especially in the free party flag set. That edge. Oh,
Uh,
oh yeah.
a
No,
misstep by JohnBirckhead.
it was a Yang there, but remember, because the free party flag is on, there's no other character that's up on Mount Hobbs.
He correctly realizes he had. I want to say he had just forgotten that was the
Yeah.
case because he's come to Mysidia right away and
Oh,
is going to be rewarded with a Young. So unfortunately, no Spider-Man meme there, and Iridia, which is definitely an interesting pickup. You have now a second Black Mage, and you have a Punch Mage, which we found in ZZ6 that Yang does have some usefulness, and proving me wrong and proving yourself right, Vitasia. That's why you did much better than me. Holding on to Porum and saying, "Sorry, Radia, you can stay right here."
well, here's the thing, and this is what I think is interesting. Not that you necessarily want to get rid of your Porin or Palom because he can still sweep, but I think, especially with an edge hero, that becomes prohibitive to use reflex strats because he's going to get speedy almost no matter what, and there's not a lot you can do to slow him down, short of having like double Muras at that point. that it makes it really, really difficult to have double black mages because you have to slow Z down so much at that point in time. I really, really think we're going to lean into the melee strats for this particular seed. We'll see. McBain gets through very, very quickly. Is rewarded with the tower key, which is an objective there.
Absolutely. Chat helping me out. I guess John Burkhead's been looking for Demist. He went into the waterfall. I must have missed that. So I apologize for that, chat. But it looks like he's probably just on the Demist hunt. You want to get that out of the way, I think, as soon as you possibly can, just because, you know, Rudy's mom could have the goods, could have what you need, and there are some cat claws for McBain. Speaking of picking up claws, so that definitely turns the tides there in regards to his lack of cat claws earlier, as John does take down the turtle there, Kinatsu, and is moving on in regards to. We will see who is behind him, and that is Demas. So he is probably very happy to come to this. Demas not in a really, really difficult spot here, especially if you can throw a dart and have 2,000 damage done to him. But we will definitely see this is not a fight I'm worried about him kind of having a problem with. Unfortunately, rolls a comment. Probably not quite what he wanted, but we're getting close here, and I think that should be good to go there. Absolutely.
Fantastic use of darts there, knowing that this could be an otherwise kind of rough spot. Doesn't necessarily need the character, but we get the nice double with the magma key, so Birkhead is going to be able to do the Fabul single check and can immediately turn that demist in. I think the routing ends up being a little bit nicer on John Birkhead's side. He's taken a couple risks and playing very aggressively, I think. I mean, he's doing the demist checks, but not doing Fabul, I think, is a little bit risky, but he pulled it out. Probably saw the darts that he had and says, we can do this.
Well, absolutely. Now that he has the magma key in hand and the pen, he is probably on team single dip Fabul wherever possible. And we're going to see what Rydia's mom gives us for all of that trouble of unfortunately taking her out of existence. And it's a pass. It's not unuseful, but could definitely doesn't hurt.
I mean, there are two objectives that are locked behind the our moon access. Both conquer the vanilla crystal sword altar and cave Bahamut. So the crystal sword altar is a little bit buried, but completing Bahamut is certainly feasible. If depending on how many objectives we end up getting, that pass may come in handy, and we may not dip too far down. Yeah, Chad is saying fading ordeals. There's no reason to go to Mount Ordeals right now. You don't even need to check for Demas because we already got that going. So this feels like a fantastic play right now. John appears to be setting up, getting ready to drop the magma key into the well. McBain's going to be on his way as well. McBain has done, remember, the Fabul defense and did get through it quite quickly. McBain also getting through the Baron in quite quickly. Oh, sold a cat claw. He has not yet gone and checked what characters we have available in Mysidia yet. Might be a little bit upset he sold that cat claw.
I agree there. He might, but you know, if he looks at it on the surface, maybe he just realizes he's gotta go really fast. He's got to make those maybe more aggressive plays than he's thinking that John might make. So it might just be a calculated risk at that point. Letitia. That's my best guessing on McBain's thinking at that point.
And here's a play that I fully expected. I think I saw only one. We are going to crack an egg in order to get the rest of the party online. I think this will get us at least a Quake on Palom.
thought I saw 2 sirens in the
Is
inventory.
it two? Okay, I look. Both of these runners are so fast in their menuing, I cannot keep up. So if anyone in chat can confirm whether or not they have one or two sirens in this particular set, but I do think we are looking very, very strong here. I love the early egg crack, especially when we get, where we're at in this particular seed, where we're underground in less than 15 minutes, and a flare. Yep.
And decision time for McBain. He's deciding again. Rydia, you can stay here for now. We may come back for you later. In regards to that, yes. Menuing in free enterprise is where you gain time. It seems really silly on the surface, but being excellent at menuing in this game can save you a boatload of time. Um, Looking at it from people who run the vanilla speedrun, um, the cursor menu doesn't go any faster in for enterprise, so it's a marvel to see both of these runners. As we see JohnBirckhead, he is going to go down into the Town of the Monsters, or the Feymarch as the kids call it these days, while McBain's going to drop his magma key down a well, and hopefully Timmy O'Toole isn't there.
I love this play from Burkhead. Okay, getting some decent equipment. Silent Staff, Tiara. Nice pickups. I mean, Tiara's optimally for Rydia, but our white mages can equip it for some great defense. I love being able to check exactly what the King of the Summon Monsters is, as well as the Feymarch freebie. That king is, in fact, a requirement here. So, worth at least checking out to see what's here in the underground. Um, if it's free, maybe you might check it out to see exactly what's going on. Maybe King and Queen Summon Monsters is about the only thing that you want to take. With only, we have access to Quake, but otherwise we're lacking in quite a bit of gear for most of our team here.
I missed it. Was it a Zonk at the Feymarch freebie? I looked away for a half a second and John pointed out.
No, it was, or was it a Zonk?
Chat letting us know. Thank you.
Dragoon Gauntlet. Okay.
Okay, so a bit of a Zonk.
I mean, yeah, because no one in our party can equip it. It's like I would love to see it. Anything else? Oh, Red Robe, get out of the way.
NPCs, again, the true final boss of Final Fantasy IV. Inventory boss and NPC boss. They're tied for first.
Okay, so it looks like it's the Magus sisters that is sitting there. Not something that we can take on right now, but honestly, not a bad spot for them. Quake certainly is beneficial to use there, and we do have Edge who can equip a Mute Knife, and zerking him up can just let him go to town on those sisters. So not overly bad, actually.
Nope, definitely not. And thank you, Alvin Starro, for the raid. Raiders coming in. I'm Nitzy, joining the booth here with my best pal Vitasia as we commentate this match. JohnBirckhead against McBain. It's game 2 in a best of 3. McBain in a must-win. John not in a must-win. So we'll see how this plays out. So far, it's playing out just like I expected.
I love that John is being more thorough when it comes to checking out the different weapon and armor shops. He found some mute daggers, and that's why you check the Feymarch King, because he says, yep, I absolutely need that. McBain, meanwhile, is doing the pan loop, so we'll be the first one there, and it is the pink tail. We do have a rat tail turn in, so if we get access to the hook, I got to imagine we'll be holding off on turning the pink tail until we get the rat tail in, but it's real hard to say no to that potential power that we get there.
Yeah, absolutely. Mute Knives and Mega Sisters mean a bad time with the Mega Sisters, so definitely some great pickups there. As we see, John is going to go ahead and probably end up in that loop. as we see McBain, who has already picked up. This is probably the key difference. He had already picked up the tower by doing Fabul defense. So while he had to do the double dip of Fabul, I think he's rewarded in getting the tower key. And we'll see. I don't think he's going to do the Penguinator special, but I've seen more wild things happen. That's for sure.
I mean, we've mentioned that McBain being down a game, and this is a winner go home spot for him, might do something a little bit crazy, but no, he's going to go ahead and do it. I do think you're right. This is mitigating, and I think he knows this too. He knows that he could have skipped Fabul defense, so he's trying to maximize his advantage by single dipping the tower while he's already down here and minimizing fly time. So this is a play. The conventional wisdom would tell you, hey, finish your Fabul loop while you can, but you're not going to lose anything by going ahead and doing this, and you're going to minimize fly time. So I really like what McBain is doing here.
I would definitely agree with you on that. I feel like single dipping tower sometimes works out much better, especially you've got a Bahamut here at the top. Not very intimidating for our runners here, as long as they do enough damage in the appropriate amount of time here.
I love this menuing here with John trying to clean things up in his inventory while he's killing the antlion boss. Meanwhile, Bahamut is at the top of the tower. This is a kind of a low magic spot, so the Mega Nuke is not going to be terribly intimidating.
But given our character's relatively low level, I think it might still be enough to take them out. Maybe not young, but that Palom's definitely in danger. Porum's definitely in danger. That's for sure.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Meanwhile, John is going to show us Sheila 1 and 2.
Sad Ruby and an Earth Crystal. Oh wow.
Oh, that
was
Bahamut
doing more than I had even expected. A lot more.
Yeah, that hurt.
Yeah, 2,400 to the face. I'm sure that McBain did not feel like it was going to be nearly that much, or he might have just reset out and gone a different way. So I think we're all a little fooled on that one.
And at 20 minutes in, Birckhead is on his way. Going to be checking the item shops. I think he's still looking for some life potions. There they are, and a couple extra star veils if he wanted. I tell you what, at 20 minutes in, I don't know how you feel, Nitzy, but me as a runner, I'm opening that treasury. Now, I don't know about these runners. They might be comfortable with where they're at.
I think honestly, it seems cliche, but it's a 50-50, I think, in terms of him opening the treasury at this point. He did dart the spoon. We did get a musical harp from our buddy Bahamut. So a bit of a calculated risk there. I'm not against it, because if you wipe there, you've just wasted a ton of time. And in a seed like this, you definitely don't want to waste any time. That is for sure.
Yeah. Now here's the interesting thing. McBain is going to then finish the Sheila loop, get the Earth Crystal, and we'll be able to combo Twin Harp into Earth Crystal check. Again, I think this is a good thing for McBain. The routing is just playing out exactly how he kind of wants it to play out right now.
Absolutely. As John takes a very interesting path through the treasury, I think he knew that he was running out of space, and the inventory boss rears its ugly head again as he was discarding a lot along the way. This is, I would say it's about a 6 out of 10 treasury. I saw a defense sword, but considering nobody can use the defense sword, I mean, it's a good dart for edge. But beyond that, there was a white spear, more stuff for edge to check.
Yeah, lots of darts. So that's what the takeaway I got. We got a black robe, so Palom can hit a little bit harder, which is fantastic. We always want our sweeper to do well. Interesting. Birkhead says, "Hey, I just want the loot. I'm not gonna do the Earth Crystal check." So, and he's gonna do the tower now. So this is really, really interesting. It means if he wanted to combo everything, we do know completing Cave Magnus is an objective, so we know eventually we're going to go that way. Uh, Burkhead, I got to imagine, says, "Hey, I have to eventually destroy the super cannon anyway. Let's go ahead and do this thing." So, really, I think resisting the gut instinct that I think a lot of us as runners have. Hey, I'm checking the treasury. Let's go ahead and do the Tower of Zot while I'm here. He said, "No, let's exit out and do your objectives."
As chat pointed out, with it being basically free party, there are no characters upside, so I think its value within this flag set and with this modifier, especially there's your rat tail, so McBain definitely making the good choice there. Just coming back to Tower of Zot, it's a long check. There are no characters there. There are 2 bosses you have to get through, which can be annoying, and you might have a zonk at the end. So I definitely see the logic from John, and in this case, I would agree with the logic. The value time kind of play doesn't really work well for me, and it looks as though McBain is going to chase that harp. We did have a question in chat from Mr. Thompson X. He said, "What's the hardest mission in the game?" I'm wondering if they are referring to the objectives.
Yeah.
Um, in terms of the objectives, your most difficult might be the Crystal Sword Altar in this flag set. It's tough to say. It depends on who's there, but
Yeah.
it's
I don't
it's
know.
a tough one.
I don't know. I've always found the Crystal Sword Altar to have kind of a lower HP pool than some of the other moon checks. And it absolutely is dependent on what boss you end up fighting. I think universally there's 2 answers that I'm going to say. One is going to be the Masamune altar because I mean that's just always going to be annoying, and depending on the mechanics you get there, it can hit very, very hard. The other one that's just really annoying is going to be Complete the Giant, because the first boss there has, I think, the single highest HP pool in the game other than Zemus, and it's just a long slog to get through.
Yeah, depending especially on who's there, but we are going to let DJ Spoony B do his magic. There are lots and lots of songs that he can play on his harp, thanks to Xenocat, Calm Lemony, and a bunch of other amazing people at the pre-enterprise development team. So I'll take it off to them.
All right, so McBain does get through. Interesting decision to not try. Like, usually this is a pretty low HP spot, but you only have 2 melee attackers, so probably a little bit uncomfortable in getting through and chewing through that HP before. So just letting the script play out. Bearing Key.
Now, Vitasia, what do you do? If you're McBain, what do you do?
So, like, there's no good answer right now because nothing looks good. You're looking for all sorts of key items, and all the key item checks are bad. There's no good time to do Earth Crystal Tower of Zot check except right now, so I think you do it and combo that in with Baron Key. But it looks like McBain is saying, nope, we're going to bypass that and completely forego it. Oh, he hasn't turned in. He hasn't turned in yet. Okay.
I was gonna say he hadn't finished the loop, so my apologies. My chat pointing out that the loop hadn't been done, and I was aware of that. Just in my mind, I meant after the loop because I knew he was going to do that next, regardless. So do you chase Baron Key? I mean, we know.
Well, now you've already checked. Here's the thing. Now you've already left, so I think you prioritized in McBain's case. You prioritize doing Baron now instead of chasing the Earth Crystal.
That's what I was thinking, but again, I'm really bad at this game. So
you're not. No, quiet you.
Yeah, we'll have this discussion till the end of time. Looks as though John is going to break open his second egg. He's like, you know what? I think I'm happy with the party that I've got here. We're gonna fade ordeals, even if Cecil's there, even if he had the keys to the city, if you will, and get some levels on my peeps, get them all powered up, and we do see McBain. He is going to make the trip into the Fame Arch and be greeted with those Mega Sisters with those meat knives. I wonder if he's going to try and take them on. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know if McBain picked up a mute dagger along the way. I do know that he's only cracked one of the eggs, I think. So I generally speaking, I think Birckhead is going to be in a little bit stronger of a position for these Magus Sisters. They still hit very, very hard. Don't get that twisted. That is going to be kind of a rough spot. But I think it's doable for both of them right now. It's really interesting. These runners, even though they've never really been on the same path up until right now, there's not been a whole lot of divergence. They've just kind of crossed each other's path here and there, and now they're really on the same line. Although John has not done the Twin Harp yet. So I'm a little curious as to... I mean, looks like he's going to focus on doing the King and Queen first before doing the Cave. It's really... Maybe he's trying to save that for the last one, hoping to combo that in with the Pass. Which... that means if Baron Castle ends up being something, it'll be very different. I don't know. This is just a really... I'm left speechless by the play.
Yep, I saw that as well. Drain Sword pickups on McBain's side. You'd love to see that. Those are wonderful darts to throw at anything that you're really unhappy about, especially these Mega Sisters, because the dart laughs at the wall and just runs right through it. I mean, like all physical attacks. The dart is considered a physical attack. Some people may not know, but now you know.
That sniper right on edge. Oh, the double hit on edge on Birckhead's side. That's just rude.
Sandy, knowing who is the dangerous person in the party, that's board AI.
That's good old-fashioned board AI.
It's a classic, and I wouldn't be surprised if they went after him again, because they know that of anybody on that team right now, that Edge is probably the one who is going to hurt the most. But no, we're gonna try and throw out Rosa there. That was a good try. As we zerk up Edge, we'll see how things work on McBain's side. His Edge is in the back row, and it looks as though Form is taking a nap. It could be nap time. She is 5 after all. So just a really brief lull in the action here. Just shout out to our runners here who are bringing you this amazing content. Make sure you give them both a follow.
And as we get through, looks like McBain is the first one to swing. I do think the levels are a little bit better on Birckhead's side, but RNG plays a massive role in this particular race as they continue to target that edge on Birckhead's side.
Dear board AI, you have done your job exemplary well, 100%. We're gonna have to do this the hard way, team. So get those quakes out, because edge is not long for this world, apparently. Great point by our tracker, Ready Sniper in the chat. I believe he is at 10 key items, so you are not wrong there. So this could definitely play out differently for McBain going forward, as he's going to now get double experience along the way, whereas John is currently stuck at 9. So we'll see how this works out.
All right, both runners with one sister down. Okay, 2 down on John's side.
Oh, and just Cindy left. Cindy does have the recoverability, but those mute knives doing work, and John is able to get through that fight, thankfully, because you would hate to see a recover at that point. McBain's struggling a little bit here in regards to the situation. Just has an edge and a palm up, and the sisters are going just a little too fast here, and that is a reset. That is definitely an important change for our runners, as John is going to be able to move on from this. And amongst all the madness, I did not see if the king gave us anything fun.
Just an arty bow, something nice to speed us up. Now, here's what I love about the Artemis bow. Now, we need kind of a way to slow our edge down, but if we end up with the Luca key and we still don't have a darkness crystal, for example, that Artemis bow can help us get through and set up a door grind in the sealed cave, just allowing one of our white mages to go faster and then get a wall off quick. So it's possible that we're looking at something like that, at least in, theoretically. Now we just got to get through this Octomom, which this is aggressive. I don't think John saved after that other try. So if he wipes here on the Octomom, he's going to have to re-kill the King of the Monsters. So...
Nope, there was no save. I can definitely confirm that. Noted by Firebird Lover that John is on battle speed 3. He likes to take these at a slightly slower rate than probably McBain. I don't think I saw him change his battle speed. But still, not free. Octo can still pack a punch, and Octo kind of laughs a little bit more at those mute knives. While they do some damage, they don't do 4 times the amount of damage. And Octo is going to slow here, as you basically take down his tentacles. We do have blinks up. Should be okay, but you never know with this
game. Yeah. And our restreamer Engidate pointing out that both of our melees are rocking Thunderclaws, so they are hitting the Octomom weakness there. And the more we hit it, the slower Octomom ends up getting. This is still a really speedy spot, though. This Asura spot is one of the fastest in the game. So, gotta be a little bit careful here, but I think we're in relatively good shape.
Yeah, based on where we are, I think we're out of the danger zone for now. Especially these quakes are doing some work, doing some damage there, and he's down to 2 tentacles. He might hit one of them in the interim, or not. Just 2 tentacle kills. Easy peasy, John. Thanks for showing us how it's done. Meanwhile, on McBain's side, he is back into round 2 against Mega Sisters, and we will see it's a silent staff. Now, knowing what you know, I mean, John really doesn't have a choice. He he has to accept that because he didn't save beforehand. But do you feel like maybe he thinks he might be behind?
I think he's being thorough. Um, the way that I am thinking and trying to get into John's mind is that he wanted to do the Cave Magnus check after doing King spot, because if he double zonks out of there, he's planning on doing the Earth Crystal check. Um, at least that's in my mind. Now, McBain is going to be able to get some more experience out of this because he's at the 10 key item mark, and we don't want to necessarily underplay that. But I think because there's fewer things for John to do after coming out of this Twin Harp check, I think that means that he's more likely to do the longer Zot check into Baron Key, which he's going to get almost immediately. We do have Dwarf Castle, but that's, I mean, it's two bosses and a, I don't know. Which do you think is worse, Zot or Dwarf? Because they're both one key item, two bosses, and a bit of a cutscene. Which would you do?
I would probably do Dwarf over Zod simply because it's a longer cutscene, I believe, and it's a longer walk to get through Zod versus just going into Dwarf Castle and saying what's going on. And you hate to see on McBain's side, Sandy has decided, you know what? Let's just do what I do and charm Edge into, unfortunately.
That's two. That's two. And I think we're seeing the difference here is just a couple of those levels that Birckhead took. But we will give you guys some time to allow the music to play once again on JohnBirckhead's side. All right, and John does get through that. I think his was a little bit faster because he didn't wait for the message to scroll through. So he gets the Baron key. Meanwhile, McBain says, "I got to come back a little bit later." But we're now 3 objectives to 2. This is a little bit rough for McBain. I think McBain now knows he's behind. And when you're behind in an elimination race, you got to make some gambles. So I'm really interested to see what McBain ends up doing.
I wonder if he doubles back and goes to Baron Castle. Nope. It looks like maybe he is going to play to Zot, or he's just going to check the treasury now.
I mean, he's checking the treasury. Birckhead is not doing Zot. Is he doing an ordeals check?
Wow. This is if you told me of your choices, go up ordeals, do Baron, do Earth Crystal, I would have picked Baron 0 times out of 10. And there's the Sid. We'll just kick him to the curb because nobody likes Sid. And there you go.
I mean, Elvin likes Sid, but yeah, we're not gonna do that. You're right. I think this is what I think this play is for John Burkhead, and he knows he's up 1-0. I think this is a safety play. He knows that he is in the lead 1-0 in the matches, so he can play safer. He can play more thorough. He knows that McBain is going to have to cut something or going to have to gamble at some point. So if John can do the relatively easy checks later and just tear through them, this is kind of a blanket safety check on his end right now. And if it ends up being something fantastic, um, the only way that it will burn him is if McBain did something like this super early and was able to lean into the advantage.
Now, if this ends up being Darkness Crystal, I don't want to say it would be really tough for McBain to come back, but it would be really tough for McBain to come back.
It would be rough. It would be rough. It right now it's all depending on the gambles. So we'll see if this Tower of Zaciek. I think we're right, and this is absolutely a slow check. It's two bosses. You don't get your characters in free party here, so there's really not much incentive to do it. Um, but being able to combo it in with the Baron key certainly makes it more attractive than doing it otherwise. Now, uh, the nice thing is John Birckhead is going to be able to go in, see what the key item we get. If it's not something that we need, he's going to be able to reset out of here very, very quickly.
Absolutely. Chat bringing up an excellent point. If half of Forge is here, if like the Legend Sword or Adamant is here, um, you gotta wonder, um, does John reset or do you hold on to it?
I
Decker,
think you got to
Decker in
hang on
chat,
to it.
Dec-
Yeah.
Decker says you hold on to it, and I'm as much as I'd rather reset because this is a long cutscene, and we'll see right here. It says
Strength 3.
strengthening
We're out.
RDA. Nope. And that it's a calculated gamble. And at this point, unfortunately, it didn't work out, but it looks as though again, both of our runners fading Baron. But I get this. You play Zot into the Baron check. But if I'm McBain, I think I I don't know. I mean I don't
I I do think that McBain is playing this because he knows he's behind, and because it's such a long check, he's saying, I got to do something to make up time. So, again, on Burkhead's side, this is a safety play. This is, hey, I'm going to check this and play into Baron because it's the most efficient use of my time, just in case we have to do everything. I love it knowing that where John is. I think he's making the great plays. I do think McBain needs to. Oh, just charm. That's interesting. Charm burn.
the single target charm. You love to see. Oh no, not exit. Well, thankfully you can't
That's
run.
that's. I feel like that was a misplay. That might be just a little bit tilted on the mute knife on Palom.
Yeah. I I have done that. Don't do that during your D machine grind. Is all I can say. But yeah, it's just McBain just unfortunately getting some of the bad luck here. Could have targeted so many other players.
Our tracker. If I had a nickel for every time McBain's edge got charmed on an inappropriate time, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't much, but it's still a hard luck for McBain. Yeah, that's Charmed Edge is the I want to name the VOD, Charmed Edge.
For sure. But McBain is able to get that Wyvern down. Quake does work, even though Wyvern looks like he's flying. Spoilers, not flying. So you can Quake him to death. And with those 10 key items, although John is now up to 10 key items as well, he will be benefiting from that extra experience, which McBain definitely needs to come back to King of the Monsters. Yep, that's right. I said King of the Monsters. I'm sticking by that. why does this game lie to Firebird Lover? Because um, it just likes to lie, you know.
Oh, because Asura is flying. Hey, the CPU looks like they're floating too, and they're not.
Yeah, and Mylon Z, you think that he's not flying, but he is. And it's Lukiki for all of our work. And McBain, oh, I think this is a I'm making the low percentage I need to catch up play, because you're right there in Baron. You have the Baron key, so he must really think that he he needs to do something very drastic. So this could either be really good for McBain or really bad, because this check is it is not a quick check, as I'm sure everybody here in chat knows. It is quite long, and quite grueling, and depending on what needs to happen, again, could be really good, could be really bad.
Oh, the wire of. Mm,
The old double charm there on JohnBirckhead's side. You
yeah.
love to see it as a viewer in chat, but you hate to see it if your name's John Burkhead.
So I predict that John is going to do Baron because I think his play for the past couple checks have been safety checks. I want to be thorough and clear everything out. I think McBain is making the right play for his position, knowing that he's behind. He needs to do something to get ahead.
Yeah, I agree, and we do see that John is making the more traditional play. McBain, who is I just learned a left side out of Sealed Cave runner. I'm a right side person, and it's a sorcerer rogue.
Oh,
Ugh,
that means our we still haven't found our darkness crystal, which gives us access to the moon, which tells me that either Baron or Dwarf Castle likely have it because we've seen just about everything else, haven't we?
Yeah, where our choices are low, and your next low percentage play would be Dwarf Castle in this case. But you see a blue robe. You really hope that when you go through that door, you only see one blue robe, because if you see a bunch, you're going to be very, very sad. And McBain is extremely happy just to see one.
Oh, I guess we also have Baron Basement that we can do. So
Oh yes, that's right. I forget about Baron
I
Basement.
keep on forgetting about Baron Basement. So we have a double in Baron that we can do.
Yep. So again, just based on his routing and decision making, I like this play by John. Again, I also like the play by McBain. You're just hoping that maybe you spike. Like, geez, what do we need here? You spike Darkness Crystal here at Dwarf, and maybe you think you still have a chance. But if you don't, then you're zonked, and you're like, I have to go back to Baron, and I am probably ages behind. Although I could be wrong, Natasha. What would you do next if this is a zonk for McBain?
I mean, if it's a Zonk for McBain, you gotta go into Baron as fast as you can because no, because he hasn't done Queen yet, has he?
Nope, he got
I
to Octo's face, and Octo said, "Get out of my face."
yeah, I think if you're McBain, after you've done this, you probably go and tackle King and Queen again. If this ends up being a Zonk.
Yep. Unfortunately, knowing what we know, that there's no progression beyond either of them, unfortunately. Which means probably that our Legend Sword and Adamant are probably on the moon. I'm not 100% in regards to that, but I'm about like 95% in regards to that.
All right, so it looks like we're going to be getting both the Dwarf Castle key item and the Baron Castle key item at about the same time. So we're getting a lot of answers very, very quickly here on stream.
We absolutely are. We are going to be in affectionately known as no mode very, very soon, as there are very few checks left to be made on the blue flag.
I think the worst thing that can happen here is McBain gets the Darkness Crystal and JohnBirckhead gets the hook. But there's the Darkness Crystal in Baron.
Oh, and McBain, who's had the Baron Crystal and gets the Adamant.
Adamant. Oh, that's.
That's the exact opposite of what you want to see. And oh yeah, that's a tough one. We do see John, who's going to go down into the Baron basement, see Odin, but not Odin, and maybe I lied. Maybe Legend Sword is here. It could
If
be.
Legend Sword is here, it'd be interesting. Okay, Dark Elf. This isn't a bad spot for Dark Elf.
Question chat, Taco Melt. The rat tail was not at the Odin spot. It was somewhere else. I'm sure someone will let me know.
Yeah, remember, Dark Elf, when he transforms into his dragon form, so about half of his HP gone, he loses his boss bit. So if we want to cast a nice stop at that point in time to be able to ensure that we get through, it's really kind of free at that point in time.
Yep, and the magic power here is not that large, so these are not going to do a ton of damage. As you see, they're double digits. So I have no worries at this point, based on how John is going through this. Although he is throwing the kitchen sink, it's more interesting choices there, as we do see McBain come up against Valvals. He has thrown the spoon already, so he does not have that in his arsenal, and hopefully he realizes that maybe the defense will be enough. Ooh, just a little short.
Chat, it could be a hard required hook if the Legend Sword is actually behind the rat tail.
This is true. I totally had forgotten about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. It's very low possibility at this point. And all right, so JohnBirckhead is now through, gaining a few more levels on everyone else before we go to the moon, and just
It's
Samurai.
So that plays to McBain. He's like, I mean, obviously he doesn't know, but in his mind, in John's mind, he's like, okay, that's one zonk. That's okay. We're gonna come back here and we're going to do Luca and not go to the moon. Very, very interesting.
I think this goes in line with his play up to this point in time. He's being thorough. He's checking everything before he commits to going to the moon. He's doing everything that a player in a 1-0 position should be doing in terms of being thorough, forcing McBain to take some more gambles, play a little bit riskier. That way he knows that he will not lose. Like, if he loses, it's because McBain had to route and had to skip a few things. He's playing efficiently. He's doing all of his checks as quickly as he possibly can, and he's not letting anything slip through the cracks. He's not, skipping anything. So I really, really like how John's playing this.
So what you're telling me is, let McBain make the mistakes, and I will just route the seed as I were to do, and let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah, well, I think even when you go in and you're tied 0-0, you can justify things like, "Hey, I'm going to go ahead and skip this one-off check because when you look at the objectives that are left, the only way this punishes me is if the hook is exactly here and the rat tail exactly has the uh, the legend sword." So because you can do those calculations in your head, I think when you're 0-0, you can make a single skip and call it good. But you protect yourself against those kind of low percent gambles because by doing everything and being thorough about that. I think that's just a smart way to play when you're already up one game.
It looked as though McBain was going to go to the moon, but he's like, nope, it's grind time, and I believe that was the sixth step. I do not have the chart up, but I'm gonna base it on the fact that he's still running around. That there aren't too many more um, encounters to go through in order to get that set up. So he's hoping to clearly come back and sort of run the table, which is definitely an important play at this point. He has some characters who can do some damage. Um, Firebird Lover in chat saying 6 steps is 2 more encounters. Thank you so much. I only have so much screen space and so much going on. Again, thank you everybody for being here on this Saturday morning. If not, it's just Batasia and I just talking about maybe the Kansas City Royals for an hour and a half or 2 hours. Who wants to listen about that,
I mean,
right?
I could absolutely do that. Bobby Witt Jr. all the way, baby. But we're here to talk free enterprise.
We absolutely are here. So just give our funners runners a follow. They greatly appreciate it, and a follow's always free until Twitch decides otherwise. So for now, follow while you can because who knows, they may change that, and they would really love your support because they're both amazing people, amazing runners, and amazing streamers, and we're happy to have them here.
Worth pointing out, John did switch out his Porum for Rydia, and it looks like McBain is also going to be making a party switch.
Yep. So we're gonna sling Rydia into important. Unfortunately, Rydia lives in the back of the tower, right up where they do their thing, whatever that is they do at the back of the tower. That's where they have the arcades set up, perhaps pinball machines. Who knows?
So we are an hour in. Both runners are you getting their Rydia. They are set up. So this is we're on our way to the giant to grind, which is pretty standard, I think, at this point in time. Although I think there's going to be well, if they're both trying to get Rydia to nuke, they're going to be doing about the same thing. Let's see, they've set up the grind. They're at 10 key items. I'm trying to do the math. I think it's 8 and 8 at this point in time. They're going to have to kill 8 Mac Giants, if I did my math right.
I'm gonna defer to you and say it's 8 because again, I only have so much space and I don't have the space for the charts right now.
No. It's perfectly fine. Like I think it's 8 and 8. The I think the issue we're going. Oh, it's 4 and 4 with 10 key items. Okay. Um, my concern for both runners is going to be how speedy is our edge going to get? Because we've not found any Murasames, which is the one thing that can lower his agility. And man, he's a speedy guy anyway.
I think if it gets to a certain point where you just don't care about Edge's agility when it comes to Zoramus. 42, 56. At those points, if his speed is that high, you're not mad. You're gonna make it through. That's my thinking when it comes to Edge agility, because this question does get asked a lot. And that's my sort of default answer to that. question in chat from Decker Smash. Has either runner found silk webs? I have not seen silk webs. I saw star veils, but not silk webs. So it's possible they're in Tomra. Neither runner went there. It's possible they're in Gork Castle. While McBain went there, he literally went in, fought some bosses, and left. So they could be out there. Oh, McBain did use one? Oh, maybe he did pick up some then. And I apologize for missing that.
All right, so both runners actually have one giant down. I think John's taking it a little bit safer using Stop on Palom, because otherwise Palom isn't doing a whole lot. Charm Arrows and of course the Claws on Yang and Edge. So 2 down. We're about halfway through our grind. While they're finishing up this grind, I do want to give a shout out to the entire team here behind the scenes at the Free Enterprise Workshop. Ninja Dave doing the restream on this early Saturday morning, and also Roddy Sniper with tracking. Thank everyone so much for everything that you guys are doing. Keep in mind, we do have another race that's going to be going on later this afternoon at 4:30 Eastern. Pancraz versus Pyre on the other half of this bracket. Remember, Pyre is in the first place in the same bracket that McBain came from, so that's been a really fantastic group that came out of. Dekar Smash and Organ Mike on the mic for that one. Just another fantastic race. Be sure to be here at 4:30 Eastern Time, right here on Free Enterprise.
Absolutely, and I'd be remiss to give my co-commentator Vitasia a follow. He's really good at this game, and I assume he's really good at other games. His taste in baseball teams is questionable, but he's an amazing person otherwise. And I'm just kidding. He knows I'm just like him, but make sure that you give him a follow, because he's an amazing person, and he woke up this early with me to talk some Free Enterprise with y'all as we see this amazing Mac Giant grind go on.
I'm right, and of course, Nitsi, it's always a pleasure working with you. Love working, whenever you, me, and Jadave and Night Do all get together, we can reminisce about the group tournament that we had. We had such a great and strong team. I love when we all get to work together, of course. And with that, JohnBirckhead is through. Was that 4? Did he get through that, even though he started a little bit later?
He got a couple of doubles. He tried to get a couple more doubles, and unfortunately, I think just ran into not enough damage being done. But he did get a couple of doubles, which is tough to do just based on not really knowing your hero's agility off the top of your head, and just kind of just muddling through it a little bit, but good for him, and saves some time without the tech spots. Gets no dropped items. That's very unusual.
I think I saw Palom learn Meteo, but not Nuke. Did anyone else see that?
Rydia got to Nuke, but Palom, he's probably at level 51 would be my guess.
Palom is okay. I saw one. Yeah, I saw one Nuke, and I think that's on Rydia. But I think our angry kid did miss it. Now, that's not necessarily a deal breaker, because keep in mind, we do have to do Bahamut, Cave Bahamut. We're probably also going to do the Crystal Sword as well. So he will eventually get it. It's just he got exactly what he needed to from the Slingshot child.
Just looking on McBain's side, he appears to be done, and Rydia does get to Nuke, and you do get to see adult Rydia, so maybe we see, Aaron Zeus Gauntlet on her, maybe? Probably not, but you never know. I did not see, though, if Palom got to Nuke on McBain's side. If someone can confirm that for me. He did not. Thank you so much, Roddy Sniper. Again, probably we'll just get it organically from the moon bosses, especially at 10 key items. So not the end of the world there, but I'm sure sometimes you'd rather have it already ready and not have to really worry about getting that extra XP. I know I would, um, but I'm sure these runners have been through this many times, and I'm sure that they're not worried at all in regards to the situation. McBain again, probably feeling like he's still a little behind, but not nearly as far behind as he might actually think.
A lot of this is going to be dependent on routing now here on the moon. If we find our go mode here on here in Cave Bahamut or in Crystal Sword, like if the hook drops in one of these locations, it's going to be very difficult for McBain to catch up, even knowing that he still has to do the king. Oh, there's still a spoon, by the way. JohnBirckhead still has the spoon in his inventory, I just saw.
Yep, McBain threw it during one of the fights. It was I remember. Previous nets would be able to let current nets know about this, but fortunately not. As we do see the monster of Lake Okanagan, Ogopogo himself, at this sparkly spot, who can still wreck you simply based on the big wave, which does 50% of your character's health and damage. And if you're not paying attention, those can come up on you quickly, and he can punch pretty hard.
Yeah, he's punching real hard. All these levels really aren't helping against Ogo. He does have a counter blaze if you cast magic on him, so not able to really take advantage of the levels that we just got. He's very punchy, and he does a lot of damage. This big wave is going to take out at least our Rydia and our Paladin. Okay.
Oh, and that Q4 just going off just a tick too late, unfortunately. And McBain just deciding, you know what? We're just gonna go elsewhere here, and I'm just gonna go to the Crystal Palace, and I'm gonna do some other things, because so far we're 109 in, and my opponent hasn't dot done yet. So maybe I feel like things aren't as bad as they seem. McBain forgetting, I think, just for a half second there that there would be no character here, but does make the correct left turn, and we do see him go down into the lunar subterranean. Chat, is it going to be top down or bottom up?
Oh, bottom up.
Oh, that was a bit of a psych out for me. I thought
it was going to be the same.
I thought he was going to go straight top down. That's what I see all the amazing runners seem to do first. I'm a bottom up first person. Chat saying maybe he's just gonna go and check Crystal Sword. It might be an easier boss than trying to get through this Ogopogo here. But John is able to get that down and complete objective number 8, bringing him up to 4 of the 6 required.
And what is this?
A power shot.
Okay,
it's fun
nice.
fun for Yang. Yep, fun for Yang. And now that we have done Earth Crystal, our Rosa does have exit, so she's useful.
All right, so JohnBirckhead 2 objectives up on McBain. McBain's got to be rewarded. I don't think it can be here in the Crystal Sword Altar, because I think John will probably just go right to the Crystal Sword Altar as well. Do your objectives and then start bottom up. If I were McBain, I probably would have started at the top, because you need to hope that something is buried right now.
You do. There is a path for McBain, but it is a very narrow path. Oh
no!
Oh yeah, that's McBain. I would reset a half second before that.
For those who do not know, that fatal eye means that in the Crystal Sword Altar, it is the Fabul Gauntlet fight, which is 5 monster fights from the general vicinity of where it's located. That fatal eye has a ton of HP. And unless you're set up and ready to go, there's some kind of mean fights. There are folks in the community that think that is the absolute worst place you can get the Fabul Gauntlet fight because of the HP pools of the enemies that you end up having to fight.
Yeah, it's literally a ridiculous spot. Shout out to our roller NG Dave, who rolled an all-letter seed to provide us with that amazing alternate gauntlet at the Crystal Sword, where secretly Deckner Smash and I hope that the hook is behind there, because that would make things very interesting.
Well, as predicted, JohnBirckhead is going to go immediately there, and we'll see if he ends up. I got to imagine he's going to stay and take care of it.
I think so too. He's probably, as they say in the poker world, pot committed to this check, whether it's great or it's garbage. He is going to quickly find out it is the Springfieldiest of tire fires, and he's gonna make a change there, and he's probably gonna cry just a little bit.
Firebird Lover is commenting. Are we discounting the Evil Nest at Masamune Altar? Yes, we are going to discount them because those are machines, and we have Thunder Claws, and that makes those guys easy.
Exactly. Whereas these guys are just,
there's no weakness that you can cover. You just got to chew through a ton of, yeah.
The good news, Fatal Eye only, unlike his pal Mike Wazowski, only counts down one character at a time, so it's not complete death. But we do have the Legend Sword on McBain's side. There is a glimmer. So the door has not been completely shut, Batasia.
We need the hook.
Path. Yes.
Now we need the hook.
Hook at White Spear. Hook at White Spear and oh no, what's he?
Oh, he's in go mode because he could turn that in, but then he has to defeat Crystal Sword and Cave Bahamut, and then go back down and kill the King of Summon Monsters.
Yep.
So he's in go mode, but he's looking for a faster go mode.
Yeah. Definitely interesting here. If Hook is here at King Queen Eblut,
he's got a shot.
He does have a shot. I can't remember how much HP is here. About 32,000.
Yeah, it's not a ton of HP. This is originally the
Mike Wazowski spot.
Yeah, the Mike Wazowski fight. So you just chew through half the HP, and then you let the script take care, and it will eventually kill it up. 28k? Okay.
Thanks, Firebird Lover. I appreciate it. The good news is, once you kill King Evelyn, Queen Evelyn, I think it goes down to 1 HP, and then the script just automatically says, peace out. So
yeah.
I only learned that recently. Zeus Gauntlet. Rythia can wear it. I did say, put the Zeus Gauntlet on Rythia. Let her hurt things.
Let her hurt things.
Let her hit things. Come on, McBain. McBain's got to be feeling like now, like, okay, it's 116 in. I've made a couple of mistakes, and my opponent hasn't finished. Am I truly that far behind? But now I'm going to go right back to Crystal Sword and be sad. But it's the right play.
We already did one grind. We're now on our second grind here with this particular setup. What's it feel like when you have Palom and Rythia who have more than 2,000 health? We're going into this with just about power overwhelming for our Zero Miss fight.
See, and you're worried about Edge's agility. I knew something like this was gonna happen. And look, Yang's got 4,800 HP. He could survive like 2 big bangs at this point. 2, and he probably doesn't even bat an eye. Probably still has like 80 HP left after both of those, even at a max but yeah, it's so chat if you want to go and get a glass of water or refreshing beverage or grab something to eat. We're gonna be here for a little bit.
Does the reflected count work on Fatal Light like it does for Plague? I don't know. That's a fantastic question. I've never tried it because we've always zoomed it.
Yes, if you have to use the water closet, do that as well. I didn't see what item that was that McBain picked up, but yeah. In regards to Fatal Eye, because he has relatively speaking less HP, reflecting would be more challenging because Fatal Eye only targets one enemy, so you would have to be really, really lucky. McBain remembering that you can indeed stone those warlocks and kill them down, and since he's not really worried about experience and just wants to go fast at this point, definitely applaud him for that. Not sure if John did that on his side.
And JohnBirckhead gets the crystal sword altar and says, "Hi, you're done now."
Oh, hi,
that was the worst thing for McBain to play catch up. That is a rough hook, but that is 5 objectives down. That means that JohnBirckhead does not have to go and pick up that legend sword. He's just going to trade away the rat tail. We might not even see the pink tail traded. I'd like to see it, but it's not going to happen.
No, because now John's thinking, okay, maybe my opponent goes darkness earlier than I do. And he did, but in this case, baited this, and I really hope, because I want to see a game 3. I really hope that McBain can pull this off, but we are going to see John launch the Falcon, and by launch the Falcon, I mean trade away the rat tail, and we'll be officially in go mode at that point. So no Falcon launching tonight, folks.
Nope. And keep in mind, we do have the pass, so not even a second lunar walk afterwards.
Nope. John is done with the moon, and he gets his crystal at 1 hour and 20 minutes and 3 seconds, roughly. So definitely a very fast seed, and he gets a package. Wow, it means Moon just about haunted otherwise. Rude. Oh, sorry. And Hook, because had to record. And a fun map game.
Oh, that's a nice little. Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah, you want to give me a fun sword that I can use on one of my characters? Why not? So, question. Where was Cecil then? Because Sid was at the top of Ordeal, so where's Cecil?
I think that's it. Like, I don't know if.
Oh, I know where
party, yeah.
When there are only 7 characters. That's right. Thanks, NG Dave. So, both Cecil and Kane were just taking a nap.
Yeah. Sir's not available in this seed.
Yeah, your character Kane is in another parking lot. Exactly, Jane. Exactly. As we do see John go into the Zemus fight. No fooling around at this point. There are many sprites, and as we say in the industry, we can't move Z around, so we give him different costumes to wear, and it's well, Vitasia, you know what? You take it away.
Well, you've already said half of it. It's totally cool, but there are about 700 some, I don't know, I've lost track. I'm not going to give you a number, but there's a lot of different costumes that our Zemus can show when we show his true colors. So really the Z flags are meant to ask one question and only one question, and none of the ancillary questions whatsoever. Whose butt are we going to kick this morning?
Vitasia, you do it. 100 times better than I do. So.
Well, I appreciate that, but everyone puts their own spin and their own flavor on it, and I appreciate all the contributions of all the different people in the community who who do the same wind up and toss.
That's 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 what we do here in the booth here at Free Enterprise. It's what is it? It's our calling card. But as we do see, we don't know what Edge's agility is, and quite frankly, we don't care. We're just gonna throw everything in the kitchen sink at Z, and we will laugh when he does Big Bang. And I have no idea what this sprite is, chat. So please help me out. It's
Really?
Rock and Mess.
Really? You don't know what this sprite is? Really?
Listen, if you didn't know the cream rising to the top, you can't be mad that I don't know who this is.
It's Team Rocket! Ah!
Hi, who's Team Rocket?
Okay, Nitsi, we're gonna have to talk after this, and we're going to have to give you an education on, you know, cartoons from our childhood that are spin-offs of incredibly popular franchises from Japan.
Yeah, see, I only knew about Astro.
Oh dear. We have community. I need you to spam all of your best Pokememes at Nitsi. We need to flood him.
It does look as though JohnBirckhead is going with probably hybrid reflux strats here. Zemus has initially 61,000 hit points. Because it was 1991 when this game came out, we had some limitations on how much HP any one character could have. So the devs were nice enough to, in their scripting, at about 45,000 HP of damage, they would refill Zemus's HP back to the full, so he'd end up having about 106,000 HP. But you never knew that as a kid. I never knew that as a kid. We just thought that he would never die. But if you reflect, this does not trigger that counter at 45,000 HP then, and you can down him with 61,000 damage. So that's what we're going to see here from JohnBirckhead. And it is, for those wondering, it is the Sunrise Boomerang on the game side. I've never played the advanced version, so I don't know if that's good.
Worth pointing out, there's some Stardust rods located in the Cocal shop, which would have been nice. I don't think we even found even charm rods or decent rods at all. So it would have been nice.
Agreed. So it looks as though McBain will go down to the King of the Monsters, and at this point, the Magus Sisters will be not long for this one. As we do see John here taking care of business, nice enough to pause for us so that we don't hear all the badness of the casting sounds. And I see radio on the ground. Yeah, it looks as though that's going to be GG. Get your GGs out, chat, for JohnBirckhead, winning in a respot time of 1 hour, 26 minutes, and 6 seconds. GG to JohnBirckhead, who will be moving on to the finals.
JohnBirckhead as a 3 seed coming out of his group, moving on to the finals. Just absolutely a fantastic race. You know, it's always great when you can know exactly what's going through the mind of the runner. As they were navigating this seed, it made all sorts of sense. So GG's to JohnBirckhead, our first entrant into the finals of Highway to the Zemus Zone 6.
We love to see it. I'm not sure if we're going to be joining them for an interview. I'm just waiting on that to be confirmed. Either way, with our back-end staff. Either way, JohnBirckhead, perfect. The voice in the darkness has told me that he will be joining us in just a moment But again, John has been in the community for some time and is always placing quite well in our tournaments. I believe this will be his first finals appearance, so definitely glad to see him moving up and showing us how this game can be played um, very well. And he appears. Congratulations, Mr. Birckhead, professional streamer, on your victory today.
Thank you very much, and GG's to McBain. I had a bit of a situation this morning that required me to delay about 25-30 minutes, and I offered to forfeit. And McBain was kind enough to just let us delay the start of the race along with the rest of the restreaming team. So I just want to say just thank you so much and how grateful I am for the flexibility.
Well, it was certainly a race worth watching, worth delaying and waiting for, because it felt like kind of a textbook race of how you should run when you're up 1-0. You made a lot of plays that it felt like you were making sure to cover your tracks and do all the checking and not let anything pass through the cracks so that you couldn't lose on a cheeky thing off to the side. And then, of course, everything being hid behind that crystal sword altar with the hook. It all just kind of came together at the end.
Yeah, it's the past couple races have felt pretty good. A couple little mismenu things here and there, but nothing too wild. RNG at times was rude, but not as bad as Game 3 versus Matic. I felt pretty good about how I ran this one.
Yeah, we saw during the fight against the Mega Sisters how board AI was on display.
Yeah, I almost reset and wanted a fresh start because between the bonk and then the spell, but we got through. It was just a little. I was very glad that I dropped down the battle speed at that point. That was my saving grace there. So kind of a, I don't say slow and steady necessarily. It's aggressive to check it, that boss that early, but with the mute knives and the mute arrows and Quake, we had enough to go ahead and get through. But yeah, that was a little uncomfortable, a little bit. And then while you're down there, just kind of get your stuff, and then doing Octo, which also took a little while. So then when that was up, that felt a little bad, but. I was relieved when Darkness came behind that long chain behind Baron, and so then it felt like, okay, maybe we still have a chance here, and we did.
Speaking of aggression, doing that Octo check, I mean, it can be a nasty spot. He's very punchy there without saving. That felt like a pretty gutsy call on my end. Is that something that you just kind of calculated and knew, hey, I can get through this, or what was your thought process there?
So that spot's very fast, and I didn't have any silk webs, but what's nice about Octo is Octo will slow down as time goes on. We had, I think, one Artie Bow at that point, and Cat Claw Yang, so even if you just do some chip damage to slow him down, like, you'll catch up and you'll get your turns in, plus double Thunderclaw. So it didn't feel terribly risky, it felt pretty calculated.
Well, that's excellent. So, did you then, at points, feel like you were potentially behind? Because, for the most part, you were in the lead. It was really close, but you were never really that far behind. So I'm just curious the thought process in regards to that.
I mean, I never feel ahead. I did feel, I felt good finding that D-Mist early, because we had a Ninja Star, which was 2,000, because there were like no edge weapons readily available, right? So then darting becomes your edge weapon, and that Ninja Star is 2,000, and then Twin. So it's like, let me just go ahead. We had the pan, and I was in the area, because a big mistake I made in Game 1 was not checking for Cecil before doing ordeals. Because that could have been not catastrophic, but that definitely cost me time that I might have needed against somebody like McBain, and I got kind of lucky that didn't punish me too much. So I made a point to check the Mysidia characters first, and then, well, you're right there by Baron, and you're fast because you have edge, and you have these darts that can take out the damage. So I felt fortunate that led to Magma, which meant we could go ahead and get the Quake. And I knew that, for sling-wise, we could at least sling Rydia. and then figure the rest out later, which is exactly what we did. So when I found Magma, when I did, that felt good. But then Zonk after Zonk after Zonk, going back and check our deals, that's time. Cave Magnus is required, but it didn't have anything. And then the Zot didn't have anything, I don't think. And then finally Baron, but then we checked Baron Basement, then we checked Luca. And so when those things start to happen, it's like, this is not great. What was nice about those checks, though, is that because I knew I would reset out if it was nothing, I could reuse some darts, and that definitely gave me some time back, too. So early on, kind of felt ahead, and then as Zonk after Zonk, it started to creep in, like, this is not great. But, it worked out this time.
Well, I'm not sure if you watch back the races or whatnot, but that being said, definitely an excellent race. It's great. Thank you so much for everything you do for the community, John. We all appreciate it. And you're off to the finals. So, is this your first finals appearance? I don't have the data right off the top.
Yes, this is definitely my first finals appearance. I had in the in ZZ5 in the Blue Moon waning bracket. I got swept by Funnel Cakes in the finals of that. So that's why I have there's a sprite in the pool from Scala. But in terms of a not different bracket kind of thing, because ZZ5 had Red Moon, Blue Moon, and Blue Moon was the more gentle flag set and all that. This is my first finals. So I never thought I'd be here. I feel very blessed and very lucky, and I'm very excited for next week.
We are all excited in the community for you to show us that I think a lot of us in the community knew was within you. So we appreciate everything again that you bring to us, and we can't wait to see who your opponent will be, and next week how that's going to work out.
I'm very, very excited. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Any final words?
Just thank you. Again, it was a kind of a scary morning over here a little bit, but things calmed down, and so just thanks for the flexibility. McBain had a just monster run this tournament, so I feel very lucky. Really looking forward to listening back to you by Tasia. Dave, thank you for restreaming so early in the morning. Right around Sniper, thank you so much for tracking. Thank you all for watching, and let's see how things go next week.
Perfect. So you've heard from our winner, JohnBirckhead, in a time of 1:26:06, and we do have McBain downing Rocketimus, some sort of anime thing, in a time of 1:34:22, and I believe he will be joining us in the booth. And there's McBain. GG, and congratulations on finishing up a very, very challenging seed. It seemed really simple at the beginning, but then kind of threw you some curveballs. Tell us what you thought about the seed.
Well, I thought everything was going great. It was basically a straight line, I think. At the beginning, everything went well, fast. And then I went to Feymarsh and things changed.
Yeah,
And,
I think that might have been the turning point there. Unfortunately, those couple of defeats to Magnus Sisters, and just not being able to get over that hump. But that was tough at those levels. It could have gone 50-50 either way.
Yeah, and well, at that moment I felt like we were probably neck and neck at best. At worst, I was a couple seconds behind, and I wanted to win, so you gotta risk it. And I said, my levels don't look good, but if I can get through this and he doesn't, or he skips it for a while, maybe it's my chance to pull ahead. And instead I lost 5 minutes. So from that moment on, in my mind, I need to save 5 minutes somewhere. And that kind of changed all my game from that. It just played in my head.
Yeah. Did you change any of your routing decisions after that, knowing that, after a couple wipes like that, especially at this point in the tournament, you do
Yeah.
have to make up time. So what did you change about how you routed that you might have done differently if had you got through there?
It's all about where he's not going. So the Earth Crystal Dwarf, I wouldn't have done these two checks right away, but at that moment he's not going there, so I gotta go there. This is where I can make up some time, and then that didn't pay off. So from that moment on, oh, now it's not 5 minutes, it's 10, and it just keep on rolling in my head.
Yeah, it's always tough when those sorts of situations happen, and to see the gauntlet, um, and see the gauntlet there behind
Yeah.
Crystal Sword Altar, which you'd initially gone to, and then was like, no, we'll go back to this. It's
Well, it was still in my head, you know. This is my last chance to save time. If it's the hook, it's in the ribbon room, or it
yeah,
wasn't.
no, and you're right. It's sort of we appreciated the checks, and the checks all made sense given the situation. I'm sure Vatasia would agree with me 100%. Just the RNG decided that no, we're going to place these items where you least want
Yeah,
them.
this scene was just follow the road and you're done, because it basically that was it. It was a very simple road. I just hit a speed bump somewhere, and then it was over.
And that happens, unfortunately. There,
Yep.
at this level, you have such great, basically opponents. The entire community has raised the level of competitive play to a level I haven't seen.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, since long ago. So it's definitely tough when those things happen, and we always appreciate you coming out, McBain. As I said in the intro, sometimes we just see you kind of come out of semi-retirement, and you always put on a great show for us here.
I always try.
You do,
And you do the same. You always the comms are always great to hear. Everyone's so fun. I love it.
Oh, we appreciate that so much. Vatasia, any final questions?
No, just one last GG to you, McBain. It was, like I said, I think you made all the decisions that you had to, kind of there at the end, and it was a much closer race than the final time would indicate. So GG's to you, and hope to hear more from you soon.
Yeah, thank you, and GG's to John. I'm gonna watch it back, but I'm sure he did basically everything I thought. I mean, he followed the road, and nothing was in his way. He went. He deserves it.
Oh, no, don't be so hard on yourself, McBain. You did really well, and it was really close right up until the end there, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, nothing to be slouched about. Getting to the semifinals is not easy
No.
by any stretch of the imagination. So
No.
definitely be proud of that. That's for sure.
Yeah, I am. I'm happy. I'm still happy. I mean, everyone wants to win, but I'm fine. I'm fine with losing too, because I can't win it all. Well, sometimes people do, but you know, not me.
All right, one last GG's to you. And enjoy the rest of your Saturday.
Thank you.
And that will do it for us here at the Free Enterprise Workshop. Just a reminder, there is going to be Game 2, Pancraz versus Pyre, right here on Free Enterprise Prime at 4:30 Eastern Time. One last shout out to, of course, everyone behind the scenes, Dave with the wonderful restream, Roddy Sniper for the tracking, and of course my co-commentator Nitsi. It's always fantastic, and we're getting down to the very end of the tournament here. It's nothing but good races from here on out.
Absolutely, and again, shout outs to my co-commentator Vatasia, who is amazing and excellent for the community. Again, shout outs to Dave to make sure that everything didn't catch on fire. Thanks to Roddy Sniper for pushing all the buttons. Thank you all in chat for showing up. Make sure you show up at 4:30, where we might get the top part of the bracket, where Pancras will face Pyre in their game 2. I believe Pancras is down 1-0, so a very excellent runner with their back against the wall, and Pyre no slouch as well in regards to that. And it's at 4:30, and we're going to have Decker Smash and Argamite, who are always a treat to listen to in the booth. And again, as Vitasia said, everything is coming down to the wire here, and so I was glad that I was able